well. But now we're going to move on up. It's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be another hazard match, but this time it's going to be Diamond. It's going to be Magician versus Cleetose. I had the pleasure of playing both of these gentlemen earlier, and I know they are both tremendous players. Cleetose in particular, we know, has bounced back and forth between Platinum and Diamond. Maybe a little too pro for Platinum, but has struggled in Diamond too. So what's it going to be? Are they destined to be right between the two divisions the whole time? They might get relegated right here and right now. Magician scored 6 points with 2 wins and 2 draws this season. So a pretty clear tier there, with Cleetose just scoring the one draw. I believe it was against Magician also. Yeah, in week, I believe it was 7. Yeah. So that's Cleetose' only point on the season. But we know they've played at high levels before, and we know Magician is scary in the late season, which is one of the reasons they're still in Diamond. So again, Magician needs 8 to stay in Diamond for the time being. Cleetose needs 9. That's all it is. The loser goes to Platinum automatically. The winner may or may not stay in Diamond. That's the question. The winner has to play Uran to hold on to their spot. I would not want to do that, but that's the best case scenario, unfortunately. We're going to start with the picks and bans real quick here. Cleetose is going to ban Pub, and that makes sense not just because Cleetose usually bans Pub, but because Magician has picked it a lot this season. Magician bans Tayen. Cleetose doubles Ballroom, very standard for him. Magician doubles Gallery. This is a map he decided he was comfortable on late last season and actually picked into me in the final week of the season. I went 3-1 to start. So it's something he has slowly realized he is actually pretty good at. Cleetose picks Library. Magician picks High Rise. Cleetose responds with Balcony, and Magician picks Aquarium to round things out if we get that far. Again, Magician has the tiebreak, 8 to win. Cleetose, 9 to win. Loser to Platinum. Winner has to face Uran to stay in Diamond. Although, why would you want to? Magician playing Buns on Ballroom to start things off. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, nice summary there. And something that needs to be said, I think, is that Cleetose has not beaten Magician, just the one tie, and so Cleetose is going to need to do something he has not been able to do this entire season, take a win off of another Diamond player to stay and get this chance against Duran to keep in Diamond. So it's going to be a very difficult, I think, a road for Cleetose just because of previous performances throughout the season, but we have seen people and players who like to spool up over the season, don't perform super well early on, and then just kind of pop off later in the
Banana
season.
bread.
Yep, they'll go on big streaks, and they'll go on big streaks in particular matches too. I've seen that in particular with Cleetose. He will reel off a few in a row, then drop a few in a row. A lot of momentum swings, something to watch out for. It's a longer set though, so if you rush out to a big lead, it's not necessarily going to hurt Magician nearly as much. Magician though, that highlight will certainly hurt him. I think that was for being one of the first people to leave after the BB. That can be a little spy move, and it's one of the idiosyncratic things that Cleetose will get you for. Contact is done, Flirt's 2/3 of the way done, but it feels like we're top suspect already.
Yeah, that could be a problem for Magician. Magician, this is a very comfortable pick for, I think, pretty much anybody. Cleetose especially, though. It's Ballroom. It's kind of the creme de la creme of Spy Party. That super balanced map. Everyone tends to be good at it. But Cleetose, this is his pick, so he's trying to get this going right here, right now, to start off the set. And Magician is a highlight, so it's looking good for Cleetose so far.
Yeah, both players, though, very low win rates here in general. With Cleetose as Sniper, only 45%, and only 18 as Spy through 22 games. But it's actually rougher for Magician, 33% as Spy, 17% as Sniper. That is very, very rough. So they've struggled enough on Sniper that you actually think they might really need a Spy game in here somewhere to avoid a 3-1 or a 4-0 even. And it doesn't look like we're in a good position to get it. We're going to try Bug out of range. No, it's just in range it takes, but Cleetose is all over it. He did not have any other highlights. He spent 90% of that game just staring at the Spy, and the Bug made it too easy. 1-0 Cleetose.
Yeah, Cleetose doing very well to highlight the Spy early with that little read of, I think you're just going to leave this conversation right after the BB, and now you're a highlight, and now you're my suspect, and now you get shot for this bug, which, in other cases, it looks like not that great of a bug because it's kind of out in the open, but that is what can make it so good. Unfortunately, because you are glowing and you're not, and you don't know it, it's so hard to get away with that, even if the sniper isn't expecting it.
That's
So
the scary sentence. Glowing and don't know it. That's not where you want to be a Spy. Cleetose now spying his wheels for a 2-0 lead on Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and you said that both these players have struggled on this venue throughout the season. However, struggling in Diamond is honestly not much to say sometimes, just because there are spies like KCM in this division, and snipers like Crazy Kaylee, and there's you in there too.
Yeah, I'm not too overwhelming in any particular way. That's why I sneak up on people. I don't have any one dominating thing about me, so it's like, what do you even say about that guy? I don't know. How come he doesn't lose more? No idea. Cleetose goes for a briefcase, does not get it. That's actually very significant. That's a big deal. He likes to get early fingerprints. It's one of his most preferred missions. It's actually something he will nab you for as a result on Sniper quite a bit. He fingerprints almost a third of the games it's available, which is a high rate in case you were wondering. Bugs a lot too, so I'd be looking out for those two things. Does not get the fingerprint though, has no flirts either, so we're going to go to statues and we're going to get some inspects here. There's going to be a white test on this inspect. Are we going to be cutting this a little bit close? It's another white. Are we going to break an animation or something? Oh, I think we might have just barely, but it didn't look too visible on screen. If we did, inspects are done. We are a standard statue highlight along with Cowboy, but we have no flirts done and no fingerprint despite going for one. Cleetose is probably still going to try for it, though, knowing him.
Ironically, at this high level of play, you don't really expect your opponent to make silly etiquette errors usually. If they're making etiquette errors, it's pretty much going to be on purpose to save time. But in this case, because you're not expecting that out of high level players, out of players who know exactly what the rule is and they want to be avoiding it, you're not looking for it, and suddenly they might be able to get away with something that a lesser player might not be able to get away with just because you don't expect it out of them. Cleetose here does get away with it though.
We have one flirt done. ST leaves as the timer is going down. This might work. If they take a sip at the pad here, we can just go. Cleetose is going to go anyway. They are going to sip. We're going to get another flirt done just like that. It's another white. That's going to be 68% though. We are making up for lost time a little bit, but we're still behind the curve a little, especially given that one of still just two highlights. Magician is zooming in on the list a lot, so Cleetose is probably not going to want to do that mission, which works well. They only completed about 60% of the time anyway. We're going to green this BB. It is not covering for anything though. The ST still moving around, and the ST gets low lit, several other low lights with them, 5 total. That was actually a pretty painful banana bread, especially since, even though we have good progress in general, we don't have our hardtail yet. Usually Cleetose has a bug or a fingerprint by now, doesn't yet, which means Cleetose' normal game plan is not going to quite work here. We're going to have to rush something a little bit late, and Magician has the party very narrowed down.
Yeah, narrowed down, and then even among the people who are not low lit, we are more suspicious. We have that big ol' X on our back right now. We are glowing. However, I think Cleetose does know it, unlike Magician who did not know it last game, so it's not as perilous. We can play as if we know we're a highlight, just because that statue highlight is, can be so ubiquitous among players.
We get the flirt done at Windows. It's all done now. 3 white tests, all close up. We have a green book, though, and it feels like we're either going to have to bug or dump it in blue. Neither option is great. Magician is staring. A highlight and the ambassador are almost on the same spot of the screen. Looks like he's waiting for this, zooming in on the path, clearly expecting a bug. Cleetose is right next to them. Magician is just sitting on this, And Cleetose rolls away with the bug. It's a great bug, but Magician was not looking at anything else. He had no eyes for anyone but the spy, waiting for them to bug that whole time, presumably because the party was so narrowed down by that banana bread.
Yeah, and that bug, as far as the visibility goes on the arm, it's very, very good, but the setup seems quite obvious. Magician is completely all over it, zooming straight in on it, and then the path afterwards is just too much. Magician says, you know what, I didn't get to see it, but that just happens when you set up a bug that obviously. Sometimes you can get really, really good visibility bugs, but it's not going to get by the sniper just because of that, that early setup. And this time, Cleetose does not get away with it, and now we're at 1-1.
That bug works really well if it happens earlier in the game, or if you're one of several highlights late in the game, maybe one of them's at statues, maybe one of them's taking a drink. If the intention is split, it's very hard to shoot for, but when you're staring it down, it's a hell of a lot easier, and that's what happened there. Magician had the party narrowed down, was able to devote all his attention to the spy, and ties it up at 1. Magician now playing as Green Dress on Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we usually see in these openers pretty slow play competitively. We didn't see that from Banana Conda last set. We did get the pleasure of casting someone who does a lot of things early on. But these openers are are usually very slow, which means that, interestingly enough, there's kind of a Yomi around it if you subscribe to that, and both of these players do have some behavioral tendencies going on in their playstyle as snipers, so perhaps a quick opener could get by one of them, but the Magician does not opt into it this time, is just going to go for the early 51% flip.
Yep, gets the green, and that's going to help a lot potentially. Yeah, and it looks like we might timer flirt here. We'll know in the next few seconds whether or not we plan to leave or not. Not a whole lot going on here, and Magician is not going to wait around for this. We're going to leave here. We're going to sidle up next to no one in particular except the double agent standing across from us. It's an okay time to BB, but it's getting worse by the second. Yep, can't do it now. It would be a big mistake. Magician clearly waiting for people to get into conversation so we can do this. Anxious to get it done early to break up that flirt maybe, but we might just want to go back actually and just finish the flirt again here. Nope, it's going to be a real BB. We've waited long enough. We're tired of waiting. It's going to be a white. It's not going to be a great one though. How many lowlights are we going to get out of this? At least 3 or 4 are available. 1, 2, 3. One of them a statue visit. And if that's all Cleetose gets, then that could have been a hell of a lot worse given how things started when we entered that conversation. With the BB done, we're going to go in and get another seduce done. We're not even going to try to get close, though. We're going to get a green off just before Ponytail leaves, 91%.
Yeah, and I've heard you say before that the over-under for contact on Ballroom is that 3.5, and Magician manages to stay under. That BB actually got quite good during the white animation, the talk animation there. A couple of extra suspects joined conversations. The SDA popped into a conversation, so lots of good value coming in. In fact, I think that contact would have been worse if it were green.
We finished the seduce across from our seduction target there, no problem, just need 9%. Can't get it wrong. Anywhere you're in the circle will work. Very interesting, by the way, the Magician left shortly after the banana bread again, which is what burned them in the previous ballroom game, but it did not attract any suspicion this time. Gets away with it, but it was otherwise playing the same game. We're going to walk generally by the ambassador. No, not quite. They're behind us. That's okay. We're going to go to a pad, and we're going to think about our options instead. We have 2 missions done, 1 mission, and 1 minute left, rather, and we got to get a lot done real quick. We're going to inspect here. The question is it going to be an inspect swap? We have some cover, and we don't think we're a big suspect, and if we don't think that, we are right. Green there, highlight coming through. White, the green action tests actually matter here if you want to inspect swap without avoiding a 3-cycle.
We can't get the last inspect.
Can't. Nope. Taft ruined it. So we're going to have to maybe go back. Is it going to be to a different statue instead? That's going to be very suspicious for someone like Cleetose. Still watching, though. Smallman takes the drink, rather, and Cleetose is very paranoid about that. If you can time this properly, you might be able to get some cover. Taft is at the other statues, too, but you only need 1 more inspect. Are we going to go right back? No, we're going to go into this conversation. What's the plan? We're going to purloin, I think. We're hoping green purloin into statues because nothing else is really going to make sense. We have a lot of cover, but Cleetose sure seems interested in what's happening. It's going to be a white. I don't know if you can get away with this now. Cleetose sees it gone, takes the shot. A green might have worked. A white definitely won't. There's a bug attempt at the end as the bullet is in the air. And Cleetose all over it as sniper, up 2-1 now.
Yeah, Cleetose really watching that list late in the game, and for good reason. Magician goes for it. Is not able to hit the green test and go back to statues, unfortunately, and almost actually shoots Toby in his rush to shoot the spy there. Maybe could have taken a little bit more time just to line up the shot. Even if you think you only have 10 seconds left, you still have 10 seconds. So
10 seconds is a long time. It feels a lot quicker, though, when you know they're in the mission win countdown. Hard to hold sometimes.
yeah,
Cleetose has
sure.
a chance now to go up 3-1 on Ballroom, which they did to me, actually, in our final matchup. This is something Cleetose can do. Cleetose can be very scary on Ballroom, especially when they get that bug by. They're going to try to do it as Kane in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And why would you pick Kane on Ballroom as Cleetose if you're not going to bug? Everything lining up, everything screaming bug right here, potentially. Cleetose is going to take control, though, and go for a flirt first, and it's going to be a green, and we're going to immediately bail.
Oh, this is very rude.
It's very, very rude, but it's in the time of chaos. Hard to get a flirt done that quick in the time of chaos sometimes, but we have done it. Double Agent leaves the conversation where he entered, so the possibility of a rush has just gone down a little bit. We are going to take a drink instead and maybe take a breather with it.
Yeah, but we are going to try to get that early flirt done if we can hit this next green test here next to Rusty right now. And, you know, despite the fact that we haven't seen any spy wins on Ballroom yet, it is one of the best venues for spy agency and spy wins both. 51% spy win rate overall in SCL. So lots of ability there. It's that 50-50 venue where if you can just make the play happen, you can win spy games, and Cleetose is going to try to get this one done here.
Red tests Flirt in the meantime, after we waited a fair while, too. So Taft is going to go to the other conversation instead. Cleetose left with a drink to console them after their lover spurns them. That's pretty standard, I think. No real room to squeeze in next to them, I don't think. Cleetose is just hanging out. Really surprised they didn't go for that briefcase. That would have been a Cleetose move there with the fingerprint. We're just chilling. Instead, we're going to go into the conversation with a double agent, though. We've had enough of idling. Ponytail is the real double agent, and this is a pretty good time to do it. Look at this. 2 full conversations, DA and SDA. Cleetose is going to sip the drink instead of BBing. This could devolve into a bad BB very quickly. Still pretty good when it goes off, and it's a green. Does not split, but that's a mission done. Flirt half done. 2 minutes left. We're still doing okay here, especially if we can get this next flirt off. Taft is moving around here, going to blue bookshelves. Can Cleetose resist the flirt? We're going to white Purloin instead. I think the plan was to go green and do something else, of course. Instead, it's just going to be a white. The question is, how confident is Magician about when that list was taken?
And more critically, I think, of when that list was taken, who rejected beforehand is a Magician very confident about, who was able to have Purloined. I don't know if it's even been seen yet. No reaction yet from Magician here. So it could be really problematic when you miss that Purloin for so long. Suddenly, anyone going to statues is this really massive suspect. And I'll remind you, the current one of our current highlights in this game, who could end up getting shot later on, was out for contact. Did not actually get that low light.
In the meantime, Cleetose goes over and finishes the flirt and goes right into a fingerprint, and that's how they're going to try to finish this game. They get the one done, and they have a full minute left to get another. Is the ambassador about to take a drink? If they do, oh, this is perfect. You could take another drink to make it seem like you couldn't have purloined, and you can get the fingerprint done. No, we're going to attempt a bug instead. We miss it, though, and I'm not sure if it was visible, and I don't think Cleetose has noticed there's a fingerprint on the drink. I think they were thinking about the bug the whole time. A drink here almost certainly just wins you the game. It is smudged now. It's going to be offered again to Irish there. Cleetose is going to go into conversation. Are we going to try to bug again? We're setting up for one, maybe. I think there's still a difficult print there. I don't think Cleetose is aware, though. I think that would be a free win at this point. We're not a suspect, or we would have been seen for the bug. Where are we going to go? We're going to go to the back statues. It's got to be a late swap. That's the only thing that makes sense. We're next to our seduction target again, but it doesn't matter. Swap is covered up so much. Taft body blocking, but not as the spy. Full conversation helping with it. Cleetose is just going to swap and win in a game that they had so many ways to win at the end.
Yeah, and honestly, so many ways to lose there. Well, one big way to lose in that bug, but also that Purloin could have been caught a little bit better by Magician. But we were basically invisible for that swap right at the end. We were blending in with the background. We had Oprah's or Red Dress's hair. We had like you can see the top of our head basically.
We had a lot.
Our head has some dark hair, and we had some dark surroundings for us. So. And just in case you didn't need anybody else, Taft, the best blocker in the game right there. So we just get this swap off. I don't think we were even noticed at statues as much, because that swap was never even suspected nor on screen. And now Cleetose is up 3-1.
3-1 on Ballroom, but we're on to Gallery now. This is what Magician wanted. Let's see how it goes for them. They're going to be playing a Smallman. Oh boy. In 3, 2, 1, Planet.
Oh, Track, what did I say about selling souls? And
yeah. Well, if you need to, you would wait until you're down 3-1 to do it. No one sells their soul when they're confident. They do it when they're desperate, and Magician is down 3-1, needing this win potentially, certainly. They do have the tiebreak, though. That is significant, and it could absolutely come into play here. Magician is in the most suspicious spot as the most suspicious character on the most suspicious venue. It's the Smallman corner, but we're not actually going to do anything back there. We're going to take all that, and we're just going to take a drink and walk away.
Yeah, if you wanted to stay completely hidden back there, you probably could have just twitched in conversation so Toby never offers to you, because Toby offering to you is probably one of the biggest tells that you're actually back there, just because it's so hard to see Smallman way in the back conversation with everyone else covering up. So when you see Toby kneel down, you realize, that's Smallman back there. So twitching can get Toby away from you, does not want to offer you once you started moving.
Well, you don't want to be offered to maybe if you're planning on doing a bunch of shenanigans, but the fact that we took the drink means maybe you want to be seen back there, because who would go there and then do nothing and just take a drink? It's Magician, that's who. Could be a little counterintuitive play, but Cleetose is not going to reward that. We are at green bookshelves now. We have a third of the flirt done. We have a lot of occlusion, and oh boy, Cleetose highlights and is clearly trying to catch that microfilm because that is a very suspicious spot. Microfilm is almost free from that angle sometimes, and Cleetose knows it, and I feel like he's already onto this. Magician, again, is a highlight, and it feels like a big highlight early in a game with very little progress, just like that first ballroom game.
Yeah, for sure. Magician, just, you know, kind of leaning in almost to the Smallman suspicion, like saying, "Huh, yeah, look at me. What am I doing? I'm Smallman. I'm suspicious," and so trying to use that attention to look innocent, perhaps. However, because you were standing right there in that microphone spot is good for other characters, not even just Smallman. So, maybe you're just credited with that anyways, and now you're going to statues. So I honestly don't see Magician finishing missions and not dying at this point. You have to force the sniper to acknowledge you're not really doing much. Maybe it's not actually the spy, and then get something by them. But you're still a highlight while doing it. People are very reluctant to bring that small one highlight down.
That inspect, very good indication that we are going to try to finish inspects later at this point. But that's if we get to finish it all. 2 inspects done, a third of the flirt. The ST's all the way out front, and we are small, and we are a suspect. As you mentioned, probably not going to get to a mission win countdown without a bullet, if we can even get that far. Cleetose is already thinking about shooting. Wow, took almost nothing at all.
Yeah,
not even close to a win, man.
Not even close. This time it was just for an illegal path right in, out of one conversation, right back into the same conversation in a different spot. Perhaps trying to, nope. There was no reason for that redirect from Magician. No plausible, like, you've stepped on my bookcase spot, so I'm going to redirect. And so it's very illegal. Cleetose, watching Smallman, is all over it and knows the shot is guaranteed, and is now up 4-1. Probably one of his biggest leads this season, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Has been up 3-1 before, up 4-1 here, but they need every win they can get because they need to get to 9. Magician only needs to get to 8, but you got to stop the bleeding pretty soon. Good time to do it. Sniper on Gallery, but this works really well for Cleetose. He likes aggressive bugs, and you can get away with aggressive bugs on Gallery. He's going to try to do it as Taft. In 3, 2, 1, plan.
Oh, we almost stopped at statues there for a second. I think the AI took us there, but Cleetose does not want to be there. We could go for this bug, except we have a drink, so no bugs today, not in the time of chaos.
Nope, I'll be looking out for early fingerprints from Cleetose instead. We'll see, but the Ambassador hung on for a second there. The drink was gone, but Cleetose decides, nope, they're probably going to move by the time I go for this, and yep, what do you know? It's an early fingerprint. That's what Cleetose likes to do. This is going to open the game up for them. They've been trying to play this game the whole time, and even when they've gotten wins, it hasn't been the way they normally get wins. It hasn't been the way they were trying to get those wins. That's a bug
right out front.
Visible just as Magician zooms back out, though. Just as they zoom back out. If their eyes did not go right there, they might not have seen it. And I don't see any indication because they're zoomed in here and not really looking at the spy. I just don't think they were expecting it on a briefcase return. Cleetose is one of only a handful of spies at high levels who will semi-regularly do those, though. They're very rare otherwise. Cleetose is going to BB here as well. And if they're not dead yet, they're probably feeling very emboldened already with a fingerprint, a bug, and a BB. If we can go get a flirt pretty soon, we're going to be in a commanding position.
Yeah, for sure. Going up 5-1 would be absolutely huge for Cleetose right here. It's kind of the same thing we saw from Bananaconda last set. The lower seed jumping out to a quick lead, and Bananaconda, she closed out her set really, really strongly. Cleetose needs to do the same thing right here. We are going to head into statues. Perhaps go flirtless?
Maybe. You can't go silent. You've already done that. And our back is to the sniper in the first one, which is how you normally want to do it, because this is not the one they're going to suspect you for the swap on. It's the inspect swap they're worried about, especially with this particularly rotund character. 2 inspects done. Still no flirt, though, with the fingerprint still floating out there, looking for its brother, trying to finish this mission. We have a lot of ways to finish now. We have 2 minutes to do it, but Cleetose knows as well as anyone that these games can fall apart. We're going to go for, is it a briefcase? Yes, it is. It is a fingerprintable briefcase. This will complete fingerprint. 3 missions done. We can just finish with inspects now, or we could try to flirt, but with 1:40 left, you're going to need to go really well. Maybe you go and try to get one flirt, and if it's a green, give yourself a chance, or maybe you just go inspect right now with 90 seconds left. How could they shoot you? It's going to be inspects. Cleetose is facing the sniper. We don't have that much occlusion. It would be a really tough speculative shot for Magician here if they're not already a huge suspect, if they don't suspect that bug. There's the mission win countdown. Magician has a few more seconds. If they haven't shot yet, are they really going to? 5, 4, 3. That's going to do it for Cleetose. It's the bug that's on screen, but at a counterintuitive time on a briefcase return, and then just 2 other moves with the briefcase, with the fingerprints. Cleetose finally gets the early fingerprint and plays the game they've been trying to play this whole set. Wow, what a lead.
Yeah, that's really big for Cleetose there. If Magician assumed the flirt and was on top of every other piece of progress Cleetose had in this game, probably could have taken that shot just for thinking perhaps, they're done with their missions, perhaps they had some flirts that I missed. But, probably, honestly, missing the first fingerprint, that early fingerprint can be hard to remember later in the game like that, and finishing at 105 like that is just hard to shoot for sometimes. And Cleetose gets away with it, and now Magician is in quite the hole.
Yep, absolutely. 2 hazard matches, 2 5-1 leads from the lower seed in the division. Now, Magician running out of time as Buns in 3, 2, 1, plan. And we're going to redirect almost right away. We do not want to be in this useless conversation. We're going to get indoors, but the seduction target's coming outdoors at the same time. I'm not sure that was part of the plan. Normally you want to open with a flirt. That's what generally happens there. That's the safe thing to do. Instead, Magician's going to go back to this back conversation, maybe? Are we thinking about me being early? We're going to walk in front of the double agent before contacting them, potentially. Let's see if it actually happens, though. It's not a great time, but there are too many great times on Gallery. This is a particularly bad one, though. I'm not sure if we want to be back here. We are in a decent position for an early green purloin and bail, potentially, if you want to bet your game on that. It's not a bad move. Nope. We realize we're wasting time. The double agent has left anyway, so we're going to go to a pad and reassess things. Hopefully give the party a little more time to develop so we can decide what to do next. But right now, we burn 30 seconds and nothing has happened.
Yeah, nothing in this game, no progress. Maybe a few suspects who gathered by Cleetose, but nothing happening on the spy side of things right now for Magician. We are going to head into this conversation for an early flirt. Well, not early at this point, 45 seconds into the game, 39%. It is nice because it's a green test. Unfortunately, it is a cost conversation, but it is better than your best close white flirt, so you can't be complaining.
Yep, you could still 3 flirt. That's the main thing, certainly on Gallery. 2 flirt, super powerful on Gallery, but you need to at least get a 3 flirt. Aren't too many 4 flirts and win as spy on Gallery. Does not happen much, but we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and we just have a fraction of the flirt. Now we're going to need at least 2 more, and then we're going to need 3 more missions after that, but we are in a conversation with the double agents. We get one done real quick. That's exactly what happens. It's done. Let's off how many lowlights? Not that many. 2 so far. 3. Wow, awfully good for Gallery. There were several missed lowlights from Cleetose there, though. They were not willing to take the more speculative ones. They only took the ones they were sure about. Understandable, but in this case, it means it's an excellent banana bread for Magician, and that might be exactly what they needed. They get the second flirt off before the ST leaves. Both of those things are good, 65%. And now, because we didn't get that green, things get a little interesting here with this final flirt and with these other missions, but the strength of that banana bread means the odds of a civ shot are definitely a lot higher than they were before, and that would be just as good as the mission win.
Yeah, 65% is, we can hear some shouting, some crazed. Well, no, it doesn't matter this time because we hit a green.
So it doesn't matter. There could have been some drama, but we've ended it off with a simple action test. You don't want to rely on that, but if you have to, at least you hit it. You can see Cleetose very worried about hair in a late swap, so you can tell the spy not a big suspect. That might change now as we enter statues. We're going to try to get these inspects done. Question is, what's it going to be? Is it going to be inspect swap?
This is fingerprintable, so we could go for the fingerprints and the inspects to finish off this game. We only have a minute left to go, though. So, is Magician just picking up this statue for the fingerprint that's on it, or are we going for both of these missions at once? Because that is, adding up to one mission, but does not actually count as a completed mission. It's just half mission on both ends. So we'll see if Magician can pick up the next fingerprint and the next statue without getting shot, and it doesn't matter.
Yep, it's just hair getting shot out front. She had her inspects done. I mentioned Cleetose was particularly suspicious of a swap there. I don't know if that was going to work otherwise because, as I mentioned, Cleetose loves fingerprint and therefore watches for it a lot as well. But in this case, it's the civ shot. That's what I mentioned too. the banana bread, ultimately what the game turned on. Magician had some ways to finish, but didn't have to because that banana bread was so strong and Cleetose was only willing to take the low lights they were sure about, which were just 3. Not going to get it done on Gallery. And Magician picks up a very needed spy win. If they can hold on to this sniper game, they are right back in this. Cleetose is going to be playing as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, you mentioned that Magician needed to turn it around with that last game. Manages to make the spy win happen thanks to a great contact. Cleetose going for these rude early flirts. Not quite as strong as last time, 51%, but hopefully compare.
That's a bug.
That's the bug.
That's just. Is that visible? Wow!
Wow!
I did not think that was going to be seen at all, but Magician is all over it. Let's take another look at this replay. How good is this bug? Just the elbow.
That's amazing.
Just the elbow. It's just the elbow right between Buns and Kane. Just the elbow. But Magician was all over it. This is what happened earlier on that ballroom game when he just stared down that bug, and it was a great bug, and he shot it anyway. This is another great bug, but again, Magician is selling out on it. I think he may have done his research, knows that Cleetose can get him on those bugs, maybe knows it can be a weakness, and it's just a strong mission in general. He is banking on these bugs, and it has won 2 games for him, not just in this set, but now in a row. 5-3, getting very interesting, and we are leaving Gallery too.
Yeah, I want to talk about the bug just a little bit because that is super exciting that was caught to me. Just because there was so much cover. Usually, how you catch those bugs on Gallery, where they come from this, the ambassador is walking parallel to the Gallery length. Usually how you catch those bugs is the snapback on the arm, but the snapback is completely covered up here, and all you see is that little movement of the elbow, and that is an insane catch from Magician. Very, very high-level sniper there. I'm just really impressed.
Very impressed, and when he needed it most, Magician, we always joke about how he struggles in the regular season, then turns it on in the Hazard and promotion matches, and somehow stays in Diamond against all those odds after those difficult seasons. Well, it's not just a meta thing. It's not just in the season. Sometimes it's in a match, too. When he's down in the match, he was down 5-1. He has now won 2 Gallery games in a row. It's only 5-3, and he's spying on Library as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, the same spy that just got shot last game for bugging. See if maybe Magician can get a bug of his own that doesn't get him shot. That's exactly what he's probably looking for. You know, any game as a spy, if you can get a clean bug, you are very, very happy in that game. Here comes the bug, though. It's hidden by Rocker. It's the exact same thing.
Rocker is interfering on our behalf, running interference. Very strong, and I think that's just free. It is Library, so we are not home free by any stretch of the imagination, but what a start, especially combined with this flirt at bookshelves, 34%, 4 minutes left, the bug is done, we've got a yellow book, we've got a third of the flirt. Sometimes the party lines up beautifully. Question is, can Magician capitalize on this strong early start? They're going to put that book back. They do not want to do any microfilm yet, especially with that bug potentially clean. Absolutely beautiful. 2 great teal bugs. One of them leads to a shot, the other presumably clean. We're going to take a drink to idle a little bit here, see where that seduction target ends up probably, try to get that second flirt in.
Yeah, and that bug was the exact same thing as last time, basically. You had the cover from other AIs, covering up what otherwise would be a pretty obvious bug, and Magician did both these spies on top of, you know, I have this cover, I can make this bug happen. It's kind of a bad bug usually, but I know I see this AI here covering up for me, and I can take this bug, and Magician caught it, Cleetose did not, and Magician is just playing so well right now.
Yeah, without Rocker there, that is an impulsive bug you make a decision on in the moment and almost immediately and always regret without Cover the Pillar in particular. But with Rocker there, it's basically perfect, and that's what happened. If they were aware of the AI positioning, it's a great move, or maybe it's another one of those impulsive bugs that just happened to work out. Don't know. Whatever it was free. Basically, we are chasing the seduction target around. They are not hanging out in conversation. They're going to statues and bust pads, and it's not working very well. We do have a blue book in the meantime, and because we don't want to idle anymore, we're going to go for this briefcase, try to get a fingerprint and give ourselves some options because the ST is not being very cooperative, and that's one of the few ways we could lose this game after a strong start. That's not even fingerprintable, though, or at least we don't take one, I don't think. Probably just guessing it would be, but it wasn't. We're going to dump it in yellow instead, and both hardtails are done now. and you really need the ST to settle the hell down. They do. They come into conversation, not right next to us, though, but we'll take it. Can we hit a green to help? That will help a little bit, 56%. We're still going to need a green to avoid a 4 flirt, but with 2 hardtails done, we're in pretty good shape. 2 minutes left. Magician zipping across. Are we going to go to bookshelves to try to get a fingerprint here, or are we going to get some inspects? Nope, it's going to be the double agent. We're going to green and bail. Enter. Green BB, leave. Boom, boom, boom. This could result in a low light, but even if it doesn't, it's a powerful move. We're in good shape.
Yeah, powerful move that could get you shot, though. That's the thing. When you have these 2 hardtails done, do you really want to risk such a move just to bait out a low light when you've already got those hardtails done?
Yep, we're going to need this green on the flirt, by the way. You're absolutely right. It's a big risk, but it seems not to have hurt them. A green flirt here opens the game up quite a bit. Do they get it? No, it's a white. We're going to be at 90%. So the question is, we do have time to timer flirt, but we'll be doing the final mission at a very suspicious time. We could go to statues now, or we could try to purloin. We have a lot of options, but I think the one thing you can't do is nothing while you timer flirt, because you're going to be watched at the end of the game then. But we are not much of a suspect either. So many choices. What will Magician choose? What is the right choice? They're going to choose to leave. Are they heading into statues? It sure looks like it. They're eyeing them up. Is it going to be center? It is. We're going to get the inspects done. The question is, are we going to swap 2 with less than a minute left? I don't think you want to with the seduce. I think it's going to be inspects into flirt. We can pick up a normal highlight for it, but it's still such a suspicious time. Green, green, white. We're going to get it done in the normal 2 cycles. Here comes the seduction target. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to statues? No, they're not. Thank God. You didn't want them to right there because we were just finishing up. We're going to go right next to them. No, we're going to stand across just to be safe. 10% on the flirt is all we need. We're going to talk right away. And as suspicious as that timing is, can Cleetose really shoot for it? After the center statue, he cannot. 5 seconds left. Magician, 3 in a row.
Yeah, coming back in this set with just completely fiery spy play and controlling sniper play. There's a lot going on here for Magician, kind of turning on his game in this set. Lots of good moves from both sides of the rifle here. A great bug catch, and then finishing off the game just completely clean, basically.
Yep, absolutely. Barely even a suspect. Standard statue highlight. A little suspicious to go to statues with less than a minute left. But, geez, that's all they had on him. Magician rounding into form late season, even late match a little bit. 3 in a row and a chance to tie here on the sniper side, on library. Cleetose playing as general in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Chance to come back from a 5-1 deficit. And remember, Magician has the tiebreak, so they basically already evened this up. And that's without even getting into the fact that they're about to snipe. Cleetose is bouncing around, goes to a window. There's no reason to be here other than to time ad or to decide what to do next. We're going to spend just a few seconds there. They're going to squeeze in next to our seduction target, who is covered by the pillar. We are going to flirt. It's going to be just 34%. We are not in with a real double agent. It's just a suspected one. It's the rocker that cost us the previous game, potentially. Question is, are we going to timer flirt after this? There is an ambassador at statues. There is a briefcase at blue bookshelves. Cleetose loves those early fingerprints. Are we going to go for one of them, or are we going to timer flirt, or is it going to be both?
Yeah, this opening is just kind of calming us down from that last game, that very, very clean last game that Magician got by. Magician trying to snipe this for the tie this set up. Which
I'm not calm. Blue fingerprint book, and immediately we're going to take the briefcase right afterwards because we are obligated to. Cleetose saying, I'm an AI, I have to pick this up. I have to do fingerprint. No, we put the book back. I could have sworn that said fingerprintable. What is going on?
It was a red test. It was a difficult fingerprint.
Difficult print smudge, goes for it, does not pick up the briefcase. I'm pretty sure that's a hardtail. I thought the whole point was that we were obligated to do it. Cleetose only interested in the book print for whatever reason. Maybe a little suspicious that he's being caught on for these early briefcase fingerprints because he was so aggressive about them before. Did 2 of them in one game, as I recall, as tapped on gallery. Instead now, though, we have only 3 minutes left. We don't have either fingerprint. We've technically done a hardtail by not picking that up. And even though we have another flirt in, it's only 85% done. I thought he was going to go leaning into that aggression with the fingerprint, but instead he's trying to mix it up a little bit, maybe trying to stop the bleeding after that fast start.
Yeah. We are now pretty far into this game, and there's just a purloin, and this might just be a gulp right after. We are a highlight for it, though, so being seen without this drink, we're probably just going to get shot, and there it is. Magician notices the take, notices, hey, this character doesn't have a drink anymore. That seems like a spy move, and evens this set all the way back up.
from 5-1 to 5-5, and Magician wins on a tie. And if you believe in momentum, he has it in spades. That is big right there. Cleetose, it's fair to say that Cleetose has an idea of how they want to play most of their spy games. When it lines up, it goes beautifully, but when it doesn't, they're forced to do atypical things like that. And in this case, when that happens, Magician is all over it. It is 5-5, and we are done with Library. We are moving on to High Rise. This is Magician's pick. They're going to play Bling Twin in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. This is the quote-unquote standard high-rise setup. Microfilm swap and purloin all off. Bug the only hardtail. Very straightforward. It's what you normally expect. And if I see anything out of Magician here, I'll just make one prediction. Probably won't be the first to finish. Does not normally like to do that on the 3-5 variants. Likes to wait to see if an AI does, see if they get shot, and if they don't with a minute left, then maybe try to go to statues or do what they're going to do. But they are willing to time out, Magician is.
Yeah, maybe if Cleetose is on top of his research just like you are, Track perhaps will hold their shot on the first potential finisher due to that fact. However, I think we had our seduction target just bumped the Ambassador, kind of suspicious, like might have had a bug there from her. So it'll be interesting to see if that, you know, burns Cleetose not being able to see that bug and having to credit that there.
Yeah, if you're the spy or the sniper, you're watching both the statue visits, you're watching the fingerprints, you're looking at real BP, and you are looking at bug paths, particularly if there are a few of them. The Ambassador is all the way on the side now, though, not vulnerable at all. That allows the sniper to devote all their attention to counting those soft tails that I mentioned. Speaking of which, one flirt done, 34%. It seems late in the game, and it is, but it's high rise, so we're fine. You can afford to space those flirts out. You just can't get lazy about it. If you try to make any effort, you're usually going to get it. We're probably just going to timer flirt here, and Magician's just going to watch this party again. Is unlikely to be the first one to finish in most of these 3-5 variants. Wants to see if the AI gets shot first, finish late if they have to. Hopefully watching the party the whole time, which is somewhat evident from their camera. You can see them eyeing up the Ambassador, watching everyone move around, trying to get a view of the whole party. Meanwhile, we are timer flirting at the same time. We are doing two things at once, like a good spy does. We're going to be ready for a flirt in just a second. Instead, it's going to be a white test banana bread. It's at an okay time. Smallman has just entered while we were doing the action test. Seduction target fails, so that's going to let off one more low than we planned, but it works for Smallman, and the conversations are roughly split in two between DA and SDA. A lot of people from the sniper's perspective could have a reel. That's huge. Magician had that powerful BB on Gallery that ultimately I think won them the game, and they have another one here. When you deny Cleetose those lowlights, it makes the endgame very hard for them. This is big.
Yeah, only the one low light from the contact with our ST bailing on us, so that's very, very strong for a high rise. Sometimes you can get those perfect contacts on a high rise, but this is just the next best thing. Quite literally, only one low light coming off, and not even that big of a suspect it seemed, perhaps except for that bug path I mentioned earlier. From the
big
spy,
problem, though, was that they left. The ST left after that. Magician with a camera shake, and I mentioned that flirt's fine as long as you aren't lazy about it or if you don't get bad luck. And we are getting some bad luck here because if you had two flirts, you'd be fine, but you still need two flirts instead. And the question, and is any AI going to finish in the meantime? It doesn't look like any of them have, except for apparently Cleetose's mind. Hair going for the briefcase with a possible second print, and that's all it's going to take.
Yeah, and suddenly Magician is in the lead in a set that looks so reminiscent of this of our first set of the day, with Banana Conda closing it out 9-2 in the end. But now we've gone to the same amount of games, and look at this. Magician is right back in it. 6-5 only needs two more to go on to the promotion match tomorrow.
Yeah, right back in is putting it mildly. Not only has a lead, but only needs a tie to win. What a reversal. 5-1 to 6-5. Cleetose still mad at Rocker, presumably for blocking that bug, is going to recruit her to his side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Rocker. You know, it's a character. She's a
Rocker
character.
is indeed a character in Spy Party. Truer words were never spake. Magician is watching the bug very, very closely again. We've seen that before. We've seen them selling out on guarding that bug, and it's won them 2 games, presumably. And we're watching it again here, and Cleetose seems to be eyeing it up. Question is, are we there for the Ambassador? The seduction target doesn't matter. Ambassador leaves anyway. We're just going to get a standard flirt in. Potentially a little early high-rise drama, a little high-rise high drama, but it does not happen. Did look like Cleetose was thinking about it, though, and I would watch for him to potentially do a hardtail this game. Same mission setup, by the way, as Magician previously.
I think this is a difficult drink No, this is just a full fingerprint on this drink. Hard to see just because the ambassador took it pretty early on in the game, and no one else took after that for quite a while. So Cleetose might have gotten away completely clean with this fingerprint. Drink prints notoriously the hardest to track. This is not difficult this time, so Magicians might be on it. But still, Cleetose can probably feel pretty good about the fact that he's got this fingerprint down.
Yeah, it took a while before the take, and you're right, that might have cleaned the print, which I guess is probably not the word I want to use, because when it's cleaned, it's not there anymore. But in this case, you probably got away with it clean, let's say. We still only have the one flirt, but if we did get away with that fingerprint, we are actually in a really, really strong position. And knowing Cleetose, he has every intention of finishing that mission. Just looking for another opportunity. We're going to try to get a flirt done here instead. It's still going to be about the banana bread. You need to get a good one off, but if you do, and you combine it with the second print, which in the sniper's mind might be the first, it's just going to look like a standard high-rise clean win. We are waiting to flirt. I think after getting that fingerprint, we're thinking, don't blow this, don't rush anything. It's going to be a white test. We can still 3 flirts, but we're going to have to be next to them.
Yeah, and now Cleetose is just going to be watching the ambassador, waiting for any kind of print to be put down, going to evaluate whether or not that print is too suspicious to go grab later on in this game.
We're waiting for the ambassador to move because the briefcase is right there, too close to the ambassador to actually be picked up. The ambassador leaves and comes right back. The briefcase can still not get picked up. There's a bug attempt in the interim. Doesn't take. And I don't even know if this is intentional. This could be a misclick or something, but it's going to be a banana bread. It's going to be a white. Pretty good here. 3 people in the other conversation, including the SDA, though. So this is still the more suspicious conversation to be in, but it gets the mission done. The flirt is almost done, and we might just need one more fingerprint. Ambassador obliging by going to blue bookshelves. Still too close to that briefcase, though, which means Cleetose can still not get it done until the ambassador potentially leaves.
Yeah, and that bug attempt definitely was a was an accident. Action priorities getting to him. Luckily for Cleetose, it was not seen. It's too wild of a bug attempt to even ever take. Magician's not watching for it, doesn't notice the random animation out in the middle of nowhere, so luckily Cleetose gets away with that.
Ambassador finally leaves. Finally leaves. We can go to blue bookshelves, or we can go to this briefcase. We don't want to have to keep flirting. The ST is bouncing all around, and it's a good thing we didn't chase them because they just left. They're going to go to windows. In the meantime, we're going to try to get this print and finish this up. There's no reason to hang on to the book afterwards because you can't jam microfilm at the end. Magician indicating that he is super suspicious of Teal and Duke possibly for flirting, and Teal goes to statues right afterwards. That's big. Cleetose is not on the radar, but you need to chase your ST. They're not going into conversations. We're going to chase this pad. Are we going to get it? We're going to hit a green. We didn't need one, but we got it anyway. 10 seconds left. Cleetose is not even a suspect. I think we were right. That first print was free, and the rest of the game followed from there. Cleetose finally puts an end to the losing streak, and we are knotted at 6 after 12.
Yeah, and still, Magician's not complaining. Down 5-1, bringing it back to 6-6 when you win a tie is just fine by Magician, but the next venue can shake the faith in that ability to tie sometimes. It's Balcony.
That's absolutely right. And Rocker again, sure, why not? Could be the new orange dress in 2 years. Keep an eye on the meta, everybody. Magician's going to spy first on Balcony. Going to do it in just a little moment. 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
You think we'll ever see more characters for Spy Party?
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to get 5 more. I think the other things are taking long enough that they're going to keep John Cinnamon Roll busy, my good friend, the talented artist. And plus, they're 5 more away from having one for each letter of the alphabet, so I would bet on it personally. I have no insights information really there. That's just what I think is going to happen. There's going to be an early flirt and an early BB. We were next to the Ambassador, and early BBs can be very dangerous if you suspect that bug, but it doesn't look like Cleetose does. Ambassador comes right back, but with that early BB and flirt progress, Magician's just going to leave, try to get a cooldown, and come right back and play a really standard Balcony game, I think.
Cleetose did, oh my.
We are low-lit. I don't know what that could be for. Maybe likes the path. Maybe they don't realize they talked, and therefore they think anyone who left the conversation without talking went to windows early. I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, Magician in a great position. Was that a green during the talk at the end? Oh, no. Wow. Wow, first of all, credit to Cleetose for noticing it, but Magician may be banking the whole game on it, assuming it was deliberate, and now we're low-lit and we only need one flirt to go, and this is just looking like a win.
Yeah, that's 85% flirt. We're a low light. I don't see how Cleetose could bring this back, even if he decides that Magician is actually more suspicious than he thinks. How do you shoot for one more talk when it's not anywhere near? And that's just a shot for an assumed bug on Pearls, who did do a bug pass just now. And Magician is one game away from being able to possibly save his diamond.
7-6. Nobody has been able to
Banana
toss
bread.
Magician out of diamond. He keeps winning the matches he needs to. Every now and then gets a little bit of administrative help, but not much. He just turns it on at the end of the year, and he's turned it on throughout this match. As you mentioned,
Banana bread.
match point to stay in diamond at least a little bit longer. Right here, Magician sniping for the win. Cleetose' spy as general on balcony in 3, 2, 1, planet.
And balcony is, as soon as Magician gets that one balcony win, he suddenly feels much better about himself, because balcony can be that swingy venue that Cleetose could go for the win on, essentially get up to 8 points. Instead, it is Magician who is now on the match point after only one of them, and Cleetose is already an early highlight.
Yeah, Rocker is the seduction Rocker this time, and is apparently playing both sides, comes right to the spy to make the seduce easier. It is just a white test, but we'll take it. That's the kind of thing that will actually get noticed on balcony by the sniper, even if it's not the kind of thing they normally notice, because there's only so many things to look at. There's a bug attempt by Cleetose as the ambassador walks by. I think that was seen. That was! Magician catches him for the bug. Absolutely perfect. Sat on the bug over and over. 3 different shots for it, and that's what fueled the comeback. Magician is still in diamond.
For now, has to play Urand, and that will be cast tomorrow after the live match with me versus Bananaconda. And that is pretty huge, going from 5-1 opening the set all the way to 8-6 victory.
7 out of 8 games at the end. I mentioned momentum swings coming out of Magician and Cleetose, and we saw that today with Cleetose going out to that huge, huge lead. But Magician settles in eventually, sells out on the bug, and just plays a lot better as Spy as well. As you say, Magician still has to fend off Urand, and that might be the tougher of the 2 tasks, but we are halfway home. Magician somehow, whether he hangs in there or not, he always makes it interesting late in the season. He is never a pushover. Cleetose, though, with a valiant effort, is going back down to Platinum. Too good for Platinum, as we already know, potentially. Could be right back in Diamond next season. Who knows? Either way, well played by both. They gave us a hell of a hazard match to watch. And that's going to be Cleetose to Plat now, too. Banana's still there, at least for today. Magician's still in Diamond, at least for today. Both could change on tomorrow's broadcast. We are going to find out, maybe not the exact final compositions. Yeah, no, I think we are going to know. Tomorrow, we're going to know for sure in SCL6 who's in Diamond and who's in Plat.
We will also pretty much know the composition of all of the lower divisions as well, with just a few. We will know who gets to gold, obviously, but
Yes.
There are a couple matches in this upcoming week that will decide a few things, like who gets to silver out of the tournament position. But that is for the future. And after all of that, we will have the Diamond Finals, the League Championships between Crazy Kaylee and KCM. That's going to be a fun match.
Yep, and it should be about a week from now, more or less. Probably next weekend. We will have confirmed details soon. But in the meantime, as said, we are going to lock the Masters Circuit gold and above very, very soon. And tomorrow, we're going to lock the top 2 divisions, Diamond and Plat. You just saw the beginning today. Now, these 2 winners have to defend their spot in those high divisions. It's brutal up in the Master Circuit. Even when you win the hazard match, you have to win another match against a player who, by definition, just had a great season. That's what's going to happen.